So when it comes to nested routing, um, kunakuwa kuna some sort of thing. So let's assume, able to talk here about, let's assume we have a route called people, right? You know what? Let's do pets, for example, and then hapa will be showing pets. But inside pets, for some reasons, let's say we need to have subroutes here, dogs and whatnot, right? So I'm going to create a menu here of yeah, cats, dogs, birds, right? So inside he pets kutakuwa kuna menu, and then uh, I think it's better pia ikiwa inside a column for now. And then we're going to say, so because it is a nested routes, you're going to say tena, give me routes tena, and inside here, you're going to do now the routes. So when it's cats, um, when it's cats, do this here, the cats. When it's dogs, dogs, and then when it's I don't know, birds, here are the birds. I think we need closing. I don't remember, but I think it's wise to start this with a slash so that it communicates it's exactly that. But I feel like something is going to break here. So because when we click that, it will try to, let's do this so that destination, so that it's clear what could break. So now we get to that destination. Yeah. So let's run this and see. And I think because we're doing the nested, yeah, that is enough. That is enough. So let's rerun this and see. Uh, I forgot to put a menu for pets. So let's add, let's remove about and put in pets. And then let's also give this a slash pets as well. So we can run this and see. So now I have pets. Notice when I click pets, I get that sub menu. But I also want us to look down here. Oh, okay, I noticed that I did not print. But let's try just see. I think that this library has enough login functionality. So when I click cuts, it said failed to find matching route for slash cuts. So it's trying to go here instead of trying to go to slash pets slash cuts because that is the nested route. So, and notice how it failed to render anything because it failed to find that. So I can click back pets and it has found pets, but I click birds, it's also saying like failed to find route slash beds. So let's try to update our menu so that it's kind of it kind of can take this into account. So I'll just call this base and give it a string, right? And then for this, instead of that, we're just gonna do base. That way, when we come here on the menu, you're just gonna say the base for this is just a slash. You can give it a name, but for this one, we're going to say the base for this is going to be slash pets. Then we add another slash, so that uh, yeah, either that or you know what, I can actually do this. Um, I can actually do this to make it kind of much more convenient, really. So sorry. So that when I come back here, I can just say for the root, we have an empty base. For here, we just have slash pets, and implementation would work. And we can run this now. So when we do that, notice how all our previous implementations still working fine, home, pets, settings. And inside pets, I can go to cats, dogs, and birds, and everything works as intended. So our nested routes are working, and you can keep nesting as much as you want. and you can keep on going as much as you need. But that is the reason why we need this nesting. And we can even try a different approach here to so you can say this is a row. So then our menu is going to be on the left. And let's change this because it just feels like things are changing in a weird way. So here are the cuts. I should say dogs go woof, and then we can say birds chirping. And when we rerun this, mm, like when we go to pets, yeah, the the thing is left right as we expect, and you can see how you can just go ahead and implement this, whichever way you want really. But basically, um, basically that's up to you and up to your imagination. So now that we have tackled nesting, let's tackle matching. So sometimes you need some kind of a dynamic route. So for example, instead of doing all of this, a very good example, instead of doing all of this, we say we need to match all the routes that end with. So this works even in nested, but let me, to reduce complexity, I just want to put it here. So notice how we have home. So we have in our routers, we have like that one, and then we have home, we have settings. Let's just say, for example, here we want to match anything with I don't know, a name for whatever reason, a name. So welcome to a dynamic. So these are called dynamic routes, dynamic route. And I'll just remove this for now. So this is it's we are setting a pattern and we're looking for something that is dynamic here. But I want you to know like our menu still says home, pets, and settings. So in this aspect, when we run this, obviously it's going to start with the the slash, just the home page. But when I click settings, it's going to go directly to settings because there is a hard fixed route that is setting. But when I click anything else, this is considered like a dynamic route. So it has matched this route and it's going to render this particular route. And typically, when you have these dynamic routes, you need to extract it. So let's say we have pets, and I don't know, let's say, for example, we have owners of those pets, or whatever, maybe this is a pet store. But now we need to know this route that we have matched, what does it have? So I can just do name here and then do that. So now we're going to say dynamic route for, and then we can now say name. This means for the thing that has been matched here, we are storing it in the name variable here. So I can run this and notice how we haven't defined routes for pets and owners. We have defined the menus, but we don't have the routes. So when I go home, it's just going to say dynamic route for home because remember, we don't have slash home, we just have slash name. Settings is going to be settings, but any other thing in between. So when I click pets, it's going to say pets, owners, it's going to say owners, and those are the parameters that are getting passed through this matcher right here. So in typical applications, you usually have things like IDs. So, for example, this could be an ID of something. I like the word UID. So this could be an ID of a pet or something. So let's say UID. And where were those pets of ours? So let's assume we have pets for whatever reasons, right? And we have a list of dog, cat, and whatnot. So we can try to match the ID based on whatever. So for this particular scenario, let's say maybe ID equals one, and then here I say, ooh, but that won't be tricky. Let's just say one and two and three for whatever reason. I think that will be enough. So without going any further, right now when I click here, uh, yeah, so we can still go to 1, 2, 3, but typically, let's do something a little bit complicated, maybe class pet, and then we say these things, they do have IDs and they do have names, right? For whatever reason. And now let's do this companion object, fun. Let's get a random pet here. So to get a random pet, something like that. And I don't know, let's say names equals to list of, I don't know, fish bed, whatever. So yeah, let's try this. So just names dot random, and then we can see we can create a pets function where just we have a bunch of pets. So let's say count the number of pets that we need, and we can default this to 10. So I just need to say so this is going to be list of count equals to random. Yeah, we're just going to create random pets depending on that whatever that is. So we can come here and say let's get the UID from, oh, we already have the UID, so let's find the pet, right? And let's make this a data class because then it's going to make printing really beautiful. So you can say uh, let's do this. Instead of these pets, we can just say pets equals to that one. And then when we are here, we can search the pets. So we're going to just go pets dot find each dot UID equals to the ID we pass in the parameter, right? And now we can say if pets is null, because perhaps we are passing an ID that does not exist. And also, now that we're saying that, perhaps 1000 is not the best way. So let's just do 10 for now so that we get an integer from 0 to 10. But now we can say if pet is null, we can say text pet with UID not found. There is no need for that. Else we have the pet and they're just going to be showing the pet. So let me just do here, I can do pets. So when we run this now, of course you can simulate you're sending this to a database or something, but just to make sure settings works, home works. When I go 1, we don't have a pet with ID 1. 2, we have a pet with ID 2. 3, we have a pet with ID 3, but we don't have a pet with ID number 1. And the reason we don't have it is because we're just generating them at random. So we couldn't do that. Actually, we can even try to make sure that we have much of this, so we can say this is a route for showing all the pets. And in here, we can just do column, and then let's do button where we have a bunch of pets. So I'm gonna get to that. So let's say, so this is a column where we're going to say for pet in pets, just display a button which would show the, you know, let's say it just shows the pet name. What the hell? So yeah, thank you for that. Uh, this one we don't need you. So ChatGPT is a little bit hallucinating there. I mean Copilot. Sorry, we could do that really, and I think that's fine. And we can put on click here where we have all of this, and instead of instantiating these navigators every time, we can put them somewhere there, and yeah, that works as well. So notice how it's going inside pets. So let's just add the pets thingamajig here so that so this one will break our initial implementation. So if we click 1, 2, 3, 4, we won't be able to match to anything. So let's just add pets here and so that we see. So I'm going to add a pets menu so that we have things to test. So when you click and run, notice how we have home, we have settings. Where did home go? Did I delete home? Yes, I delete home in place of pets, but that's not an issue. So when I press one, notice how it's saying cannot find route for one, and it's saying it has all of these options. It just can't find the option that matches route one or two or three or four. But when I go to pets, I can see fish, dog, dog, fish, dog, dog, bird, and whatnot. But when I click this one, it's going to direct me into a subroute. So now it's saying me this one has an ID 4 and the name is fish. I can go back to pets. I can click another dog. That one's an ID 8. I can look for a fish right now. Fish. And then as you can see, yeah, this is a very naive implementation, as you all can tell, but it kind of works. So this is how it behaves when you need to pass this route there. But sometimes you need to match. So sometimes there is oh, what should I say here? So sometimes you just need to match every other thing. So for example, you see how we we can't match 1, 2, 3 home, but you can match settings. So you can set up a catch all basis. So we can say, okay, now I want to match something. So star is like everything else that does not fit should be matched here. And you can say, I don't know, web developers usually like to say 404, page not found. But if you're like me, I would be like, oops, check your routes. So let's start with the famous 404, just that we're in the clear here. Um, so this, notice how I have the home page. I can go to pets, I can go to settings, but every other page is going to be page not found just because it is matching this everything route. There are a lot of ways to handle this. A very good example is, so for example, if you have a menu, and for example, one of other use case. You can say if we quote it here instead of showing 404, we can say, you know what? Just navigate to the home route. If it is not found, navigate to home. So this one also works. Um, because now while I can go to settings, I can go to pets, but if I click anything that is there, I'm back to the main page and anything that does not match. So in short, it is whenever it matches everything, it just navigates it to somewhere else. But you're also not limited to just this. You can say, for example, if I go to settings, I don't want to show settings, I just want to show a list of pets. You can also click the navigate section, and now when we go to settings right here, we click here. Notice how it instead of showing the settings, it's navigating back to pets, and all our links are still working as well. So this is some really really powerful tool, and this is some really really powerful tool, and I think we can handle nested routing, we can handle patterns and arguments, and you can see how you can take these arguments and pass them around. I think that's enough for this particular lesson.